Oscar Piastri's championship campaign has hit a serious rough patch at the worst possible time. The young Australian finished fifth at yesterday's United States Grand Prix, continuing a worrying trend of poor performances that has seen his once comfortable championship lead shrink to just 14 points over teammate Lando Norris and 40 points over Max Verstappen with only 5 races remaining. The weekend in Austin was difficult from start to finish for the McLaren driver. Piastri crashed out of Saturday's sprint race at turn 1, taking Norris with him, an incident that cost both McLaren drivers valuable points. He then qualified 6th for Sunday's main race, marking his second worst qualifying performance of the season. The struggles continued in the race itself, where he spent the afternoon running in 5th place, without the pace to challenge the cars ahead. What made the weekend even more concerning was Piastri's honest admission after the race. When asked what went wrong and how he plans to address the issues, he told reporters that he doesn't have any great ideas at the moment. For a championship leader with 5 races left, that's not the kind of response anyone expected to hear. Piastri explained that the pace simply wasn't there in either qualifying or the race. It was honestly a pretty similar story, he said, sounding frustrated with the situation. He mentioned that the Circuit of the Americas has never been a particularly strong track for him, with its mix of high-speed and low-speed corners, requiring a specific kind of confidence in the car, something he couldn't find all weekend. The Australian tried to put a positive spin on things, saying he wasn't completely shocked that Austin was difficult given his history at the track. However, he also admitted he was hoping for much better results. That hope didn't translate into performance, and now Piastri faces a championship battle that has become much tighter than anyone expected just a few weeks ago. The championship numbers tell a concerning story for Piastri and McLaren. His lead over Norris has been cut down to just 14 points, essentially nothing, with 5 races and 141 points still available. One bad result could see him lose the championship lead to his own teammate. The gap to Verstappen is slightly more comfortable at 40 points, but the Red Bull driver has been in exceptional form recently and he's closing fast. Looking at how quickly things have changed makes the situation even more alarming. Piastri won at Zandvoort, and at that point, the championship looked like it was heading in his direction. Since that victory, he has lost 20 points to Norris and 64 points to Verstappen across just 5 races, a massive swing in momentum that has completely changed the complexion of the title fight. The last 3 Grand Prix have been particularly difficult for Piastri. He hasn't finished on the podium in any of them, collecting just 22 points total during that stretch. For a driver in championship-winning machinery, those are the kinds of results that can cost you a title. What looked like a controlled march to his first world championship has turned into a desperate scramble to hold on to a lead that keeps getting smaller. Max Verstappen's recent form has been a major factor in Piastri's shrinking advantage. The Dutchman scored a perfect 33 points at the US Grand Prix weekend, winning both the sprint and the main race. He has now won 3 of the last 4 races, and Red Bull appears to have found significant performance improvements that have made them competitive again. Verstappen took 25 points out of Piastri in a single weekend, a reminder of how quickly the championship can swing. The situation with Norris adds another layer of complexity to Piastri's problem. Having your own teammate as your closest championship rival creates unique pressures and challenges. Norris finished second in Austin, scoring 18 points while Piastri managed only 10. The momentum within McLaren has clearly shifted. Norris is driving with confidence, while Piastri appears to be struggling to find his rhythm. Zak Brown tried to remain diplomatic when discussing Piastri's weekend, but his comments revealed the team's concern. Brown said he was glad to have the weekend behind us, which is a polite way of acknowledging that things didn't go well. He explained that Piastri never really felt comfortable in the car throughout the weekend and lacked the confidence he needed to perform at his best. According to Brown, Piastri just never felt like he had the car underneath him the way he wanted. The American tried to provide context by noting that Austin wasn't Piastri's favorite track last year either, but that explanation only goes so far. Every race from now until the end of the season carries enormous weight. Another weekend like Austin could see Verstappen close the gap even further, or potentially see Norris take over the championship lead. Piastri can't afford any more mistakes or poor performances if he wants to become world champion. The big question facing him now is whether he can rediscover the form that made him championship leader in the first place. Can he and the team figure out what's wrong with the car setup? or his approach? Can he handle the pressure of a three-way championship fight against two of the sport's best drivers? The next 5 races will provide the answers. This is the kind of moment that defines a driver's career. However, he also faces the very real possibility of letting a championship slip away after leading it. How he responds to this adversity will show what kind of driver and competitor he truly is. For now, the championship remains wide open and the pressure continues to build. Piastri heads to Mexico knowing that he needs to perform far better than he did in Austin. The form and confidence that carried him to the top of the standings need to return quickly, or he'll be watching someone else celebrate the title at season's end.